Welcome to Chatting It Up with CJ Live Interview Podcast, where conversations come alive. At Chatting It Up with CJ, I believe in the power of authentic conversations. That's why I create a safe space for my guests, whether they're a political figure, church representatives, or a local entrepreneur, to share their stories and passions. Approaching each conversation with an open heart and attentive ears, I delve into the guests' stories to understand their perspectives deeply, fostering a connection between them and you, the audience. Experience the essence of passion, diverse viewpoints, meaningful engagement, profound insights, authenticity, and transparency with Chatting It Up with CJ Live Interview Podcast. Want to showcase your business? Become a sponsor and have your brand prominently featured and mentioned during one of our shows for just $50. You can also show your support as an individual viewer through donation. Head over to chattingitup.com to become a sponsor or donate to support our podcast. So, grab your favorite coffee cup and let's chat it up.
Hello and welcome to the show tonight. I am your host, CJ Lester. And before we bring our guest on tonight, I would like to point out a new addition to the studio I have is a painting right here. My wonderful girlfriend, she painted the other day for me, and I call that the two love llamas. So llamas are my favorite animal. She asked what my favorite animal was, and she drew it. It looks like we're a little bit lagging tonight, so bear with us with the service. I think it's because of the weather that's going on, but bear with us if we do lag a little bit and stay with us. But I want to welcome again our public commissioner, service public commissioner Tim Echols. How you doing tonight? Try it again. Can't hear you. Let's see. I was just hearing you earlier. Can't hear you.
Yeah, let's try.
There we go. Hold on.
How about now?
Good. There we go. Yes, sir.
Great. Hey, everyone.
Yeah.
I'm in rural Jackson County. You can see the horse pasture behind me.
There you go.
So just out enjoying the sunset here and getting ready to just turn off the week and turn on the weekend.
Yes, that's what we like to do here in Georgia, especially with it's coming summertime. We like to get out to that Jackson Lake out there or anywhere out in that area and go fishing, right?
Yeah. Well, Jackson Lake's down south. I'm in Jackson County, which is up near Brazelton.
Okay.
It's up on the north side, just north of Gwinnett County. It's kind of a suburb of Athens, Georgia.
Gotcha. There's still some beautiful lakes out that way too. So
Lake Hartwell's not bad.
There you go. So we're here for a short time tonight. I don't know how many people will pop on tonight, but if not, that's fine. They can replay this at any time they want to. So why is the Public Service Commissioner an important race to you?
And it must have been really important for our legislature to create 5 full-time commissioners who have to run statewide. In fact, we can be thrown out of office. This year I'm on the ballot. If people aren't happy with the job I've done, they are able to pick someone else in primary or on the general. So I like that system. I like the fact that we have to defend ourselves to voters, and we regulate something really important: electricity and natural gas, and that really is the essence of modern day comfort. I mean, the electrification of America was, the greatest invention in the 20th century. So we continue to improve the grid out there and make it better.
Right. And so with all that being said, what is true that your job is very much like being a judge?
Yeah, when you go into our hearing room, it
Mm-hmm.
looks a lot like a courtroom,
And I've
CJ.
seen it on TV because
Yeah,
they have it public, you know.
yeah,
So.
yeah. There's the bench with the five
Mm-hmm.
commissioners, two tables for each set of lawyers. You've got a witness stand. You've got a podium microphone where they speak to us, and then of course the audience.
Mm-hmm.
And we are kind of the judge and the jury when you think about what power plants are we gonna build? How are we gonna be able to grow our grid and have more businesses, data centers, how are these gonna impact prices? How can we keep the prices as low as possible? How do you deal with inflation and all of this?
Mm-hmm.
What if their trucks wear out? What if a storm comes and knocks down 12,000 poles like the
Right.
storm that we had uh, just earlier this year?
Mm-hmm.
So it's just always a lot of decisions, uh, and since we're constitutional officers, we take an oath to the Georgia Constitution, and we serve at the pleasure of the people. So
Mm-hmm.
we're elected members statewide of this agency.
Got you. And so, why is energy planning so important today? And inflation probably could be a cause of that, but
What was the question again?
why is energy planning so important today?
It takes a long time to build a plant, so you have to. It took us 12 years to build a nuclear plant. It takes about
Mm-hmm.
3 years to build a gas plant. It takes 3 years to build a big solar field. It, and you've got to kind of gauge how many people are moving here, what businesses are moving here, where are they going to be, how do you get the power from down there to up here. So it's just a lot of moving parts, and so we are having to really plan out what the prices are going to be.
Mm-hmm.
What if there's regulations from the federal government, like with coal, for example? There's a lot of strict regulations around coal ash, and it's added a lot of cost to that. Do we close those plants? Do we keep them open? So it's always a lot of decisions to make.
Mm-hmm. So, also, well, I guess you answered that. The next question is how long does it take to build a power plant? You answered that with that. So, is data centers the same? Can we answer this question right quick? If is is data centers a bad thing? Because
I
that's
don't
what
think they're, y- you know,
everybody thinks they are, but I don't think they are either.
I mean, we're using Instagram and
Mm-hmm.
TikTok and Facebook, and all of that's going through a data center.
Okay.
Tonight, if you go and watch Netflix or Amazon Prime, it's going through a data center. If you
Are
use
doing what we're
Microsoft,
doing here tonight.
we're going through a data center. So
Mm-hmm.
I don't think the data centers are evil.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, we're the ones that's driving that business.
Mm-hmm.
But nevertheless, what we've done at the commission, we basically told data centers going forward that they're going to have to pay for all the incremental power that we generate and transmit to them. And so
Okay.
what's going to happen when it's all said and done is going to actually reduce power bills by about $3 a month when we get all these data centers online, because we're making them invest so much money,
Mm-hmm.
and we're making them pay all of what they're causing. And I think that's the right way to do it.
Yeah. That's yeah. Because so with that being said, would that cause our bill to go, our electric bills to go up?
The data centers aren't going to cause the bills to go up. I think what's going
Mm-hmm.
to and I don't anticipate bills going up for several years. Again, we just had some rate increases. I think if we go out and build another nuclear plant
Mm-hmm.
that comes on in another 10 years, that will cause an increase. I think if we had a major storm hurricane like we did last year, if we had
Yeah.
one of those every year, let's just say it
Yeah.
came through and it got knocked down 10,000 poles every year, that obviously is a pretty catastrophic event.
Right.
Uh, and we've
Well,
got
not even not
some
only
insurance. Yeah.
hurricanes, tornadoes we've been having lately.
Yeah, tornadoes are somewhat isolated. That
Mm-hmm.
hurricane, when it blew through, it took us a mile wide
Mm.
swath, even more, and it just blew everything down in its path.
Wow.
So, I can't say rates won't ever go up again. I
Mm-hmm.
think they will. Obviously, inflation is here, and everything eventually goes up. But I
Right.
think we're setting pretty good right now.
Mm. And so, Georgia's being known as Republican, a big red state. How has the PSC, sorry, always been Republican?
It just became Republican in 1994. It had been a
Mm,
Democratic institution. In fact, the Democrats were running all of state government up until the Republicans took the PSC in 1992 and 94. They got a majority of it. And then, of course, Sonny Perdue was elected in 2002.
mm-hmm,
And then very shortly, the Republicans gained control of the legislature, and they've had it ever since. All the offices in the state. Now, Raphael Warnock and John Ossoff,
mm-hmm.
they took those two federal offices, those two Senate seats, and we'll see what happens next year
Yeah.
when John Ossoff has a lot of Republican competition. I'm not sure what's going to happen,
Mm-hmm,
um, but the Republican Public Service Commission. I mean, we value economic development, we value reliability.
mm-hmm.
Yeah, we like clean energy, but we're not going to go crazy with it. We're not going
Yeah.
to subsidize it. All the solar that we have out there is not subsidized. In other words,
Mm-hmm,
it's paying for itself. So I think the way we're doing solar, we've done it a little bit along and along, and
mm-hmm,
we have about 7% solar in our state. That's not that
mm-hmm.
much,
Yeah.
um, but it's good to have a mix of energy. We got
Mm-hmm,
coal. We've got about 50% gas. We've got 25% nuclear energy. We've got some hydro dams up in North Georgia and
yeah.
on the Chattahoochee. We've got a little biomass down in South
Mm.
Georgia, in Montezuma, in Port Wentworth. We've got some biomass
Do we have any
in, in
coal plants here in Georgia?
in Dublin. We've got coal in
Okay.
Macon at a
Okay.
plant called Plant Shear
Mm.
near Juliet, a little small town,
Okay. Yeah.
and then
Yeah.
up in Cartersville. As you go up
Mm.
I-75, you can see it from I-75. There's a large coal plant there.
Mm. I might pass it on my way to Dalton. Just when I go to the convention. Mm.
Yeah, yeah. If you look
Mm.
over to the over to the left,
Yeah.
you can see it.
Okay. Cool. I'll look for it when I'm on my way up there. So how can folks be more involved with your campaign? Like, what do you need for us to do?
I think since the election is June 17th, it's a
Mm-hmm.
special election and nobody knows it.
I
Nobody,
know.
there's nothing else on the ballot. It's just
Mm-hmm.
me and my
Right.
opponent. So you're going to have to actually make a note in your calendar,
Mm-hmm.
probably because you're not going to see any TV ads. You're not going to get
Mm-hmm.
any mail. You're not going to get any calls. It's just very difficult for a small office like the Public Service Commission
Mm-hmm.
to get out to what we call get out the vote. I mean,
Right.
if you're running for governor or for Senate, you've got 20 million, $40 million. You've got all this
Yeah.
money, and every time you turn on the TV, you see it, but you won't see a single TV ad about the
Mm.
Public Service Commission. So folks are going to just have to remember. And early voting starts May 27th, the day
And
after
26. Okay.
Memorial Day. So,
All right.
you make a note and you just go down to your courthouse or wherever you vote. You'll be in and out in a jiffy. There
Mm-hmm.
won't be a line. It'll be the easiest vote that you've ever made. I'm on the Republican ballot, so you're going to need to ask for
Well,
a
gotcha.
Republican ballot. The Democrats have some Public Service Commission candidates on their ballot too,
Okay.
but this is a primary, so you
Mm-hmm.
you vote for your favorite Republican, and then the Democrats vote for their favorite Democrat, and then we meet up in November for a head-to-head competition.
Okay. And I'll do the best I can to get the word out in on my platform as well. And so, do you ever plan to run for another office?
I've thought about running for Congress one day. I
Mm-hmm.
started Teen Pack, a youth ministry.
Yeah.
We've had a lot of kids from all over the country go through the program, and I thought, if I was a congressman, I could have them intern in my office, and
Yeah.
um, but I really love this job, and
Mm-hmm.
I don't really want to leave it.
Mm-hmm.
And from what my friends that have been congressmen have told me, some of them, they have to sleep in their office on an air mattress.
Yeah.
They shower in the gym. It's
Mm.
really not the luxurious thing that you
Yeah.
might think it is. It's
Right.
they leave on Monday,
Mm.
and they're up there, sleeping on the air mattress. They come home on Friday, then they have to go to meetings on the weekend.
Mm.
I don't think they get to see their family very much.
Wow. And I think that's what made the governor's decision to not run for the Senate, because his family's very close to him, and he loves Athens a lot. So it'd be like a whole total different ball game for him. So, but
Yeah, that's
yeah.
right.
Mm-hmm. And I'm gonna keep you after just a minute here. Is there anything else you'd like to add to the people tonight?
Well, I just want to say that I want to become a sponsor of the podcast. I want to
Okay.
go ahead and be a $50 monthly sponsor.
All right.
Um, and I want to get you that. We'll put my logo wherever you want to
Yeah.
put it on the
Mm-hmm.
show. So I
And I'll
appreciate
put it.
what you're doing. I
I'll
have
put,
a podcast myself, and I
okay.
know how hard it is
Yeah.
uh, to do this. Folks can just go anywhere you get a podcast. You can search for Energy Matters with Commissioner Echols, and you can find my podcast. But I
Okay.
officially want to become a sponsor for the rest, at least for the rest of the year
Yeah.
of your podcast. So
I
I
appreciate
will
that.
I will commit to $50 a month for the rest of the
Okay.
year.
Well, I think we got our first sponsor here, folks, and I really do appreciate that. And I'll put your information on. I got a website to run as well, so I do a blog, and I'm going to do a interview after this with you to put in an article and stuff. So I really do appreciate that. Appreciate the support. And so, the main election is June 17th. Is that right?
Yep, that's the
Okay.
primary, and then November 4th will be the general for whichever candidate advances.
Okay, cool. So I'll put the best I can do to put the information out there for people to go vote, Republican or Democrat. I'm not choosing, but yeah, go vote what you want to go vote, and just make sure we go and show up. Because ours here in Rockdale County is on West Avenue. That's where I'm pretty sure that where people will go vote. I don't think they'll do it on the precincts. I think they'll just do it at West Avenue, since it's one short voting thing. So. Go on West Avenue on June 17th and vote for the Public Service Commissioner, Tim Echols. And I appreciate again. We just had one guest join. Hello, Miss Corliss Turner. We have Tim Echols here tonight. We're just about to sign off, though. You can go back and watch it. You can watch this podcast anytime you want to, but it'll be up on my YouTube page and my Facebook page. And I look forward to talking to you again, Tim.
Thank you so much, CJ.
Yes, sir. Stay right there where you're at, and I'll be right with you.
All righty.